makes just everything simpler. Here's my little setup that lights up because I'm kind of blind. It's rather simple. 9 is move an object up, 0 is move an object down. Then you have the buttons to move object freely, move object to the left, move object to the right. That's also rotate left and right. You can size things up and size things down. To turn on cheats, you will press Ctrl-Alt-C, which is these 3 buttons, or these 3 buttons. I started off this video not using cheats, just using the freely move Alt button on my keyboard. And I started with the basic walls, which I don't really like to use. I usually call it either cutting corners or cutting the wall, where I take it from one side and I make a little triangle. Now you can keep those little outer edges. I usually don't. I'll show you why later, but if you're going to add on extra rooms and you don't want that awkwardly flat wall in the background, you can keep them. Here I'm just going through and I'm just trying to pick a wall pattern, and you notice that sometimes if you press shift to make it go on all the walls, it doesn't exactly go like where you want it to go. So I don't always use shift for my wallpaper. I usually just do a design and then I'll go through and add something plain. Here I thought these fun little tiles would be fun with other tiles. And I do this because I always like to put a bathroom on the other side of my kitchen, on one side or the other, and then usually if you have a bedroom or living room, tiles are just so versatile and you can change them out and change the color, but they're easier to match with the flowing room because I like open floor plans a lot of the times, especially with my smaller builds. I made a larger build that's inspired by the Dolly Parton rooftop bar in the Graduate Hotel in Nashville, and I think also Knoxville, Tennessee, where it was huge and it was open, and I just wanted everything to flow but also have a lot going on. Kitchens are probably one of my favorite areas to do. I have trouble with a lot of other rooms like bedrooms. Bathrooms can be kind of fun if I'm inspired. If I can't find things that go right, I just don't enjoy it as much as a kitchen. But you go through and you pick the cabinets. That's not exactly how I do it. I like to go through. I like to pick my appliances depending on, you know, the walls or the family that's going to be living there or the storyline, or just, you know, I take in all the factors. But I'm just going to pick out the appliances and what I like. And if you go to the cabinets and you see this little, I'm on the choose a color button, there's a settings button on there that you click and it'll turn the auto counters on and off, which means when they're off, you can choose corner cabinets, side cabinets, outer side cabinets, and you can do that for the top cabinets and the bottom cabinets. So here I'm struggling with trying to fill in that little corner as best as possible. So eventually I'll press Alt and I'll be able to move it freely, but not outside. So I like to line it up with the wall as best as I can. I always leave a little bit away from the corner just so that it feels more real, because when you design your own house, or, you know, a dollhouse or anything, you don't want anything just shoved up in a corner, because a lot of times plants just have to breathe, or you want to put a plant there, or say a picture or something so it doesn't hit the fridge. That's just personal preference, I guess. I'm not really sure, but I like doing that. I'm going to end up doing the same thing with the oven, and eventually I'm going to go through and I'm going to press Alt as I put the cabinets together. One of my favorite things to do, and I've talked about this in on Facebook and the Sims groups and stuff, is to go through whenever I'm searching for something and pick out the colors. So for here, I'm looking at all the gray cabinets, because I wasn't really inspired by any cabinets because I didn't pick my appliances yet, and I figured, oh, this kind of works together with the wall and everything else, because I like half tile walls a lot of times with darker cabinets instead of just, you know, a full tiled wall. So I try to find something that kind of goes with that half wood and the appliances and everything else. So whenever I search, I pick out the colors. Sometimes I'll go through and I'll pick out different packs, but for kitchens especially, I use a lot of pick this color because like the walls are kind of like that greenish Tiffany blue color. So I will pick out eventually, green, or if I want a splash of red in there or something for decoration. It's just something fun. It's not really a cheat or trick. It's just I didn't know about it for a long time because I didn't mess around with, the settings and everything else because I played with controller for so long that I just literally went through every single thing and stayed up until 4 in the morning building things that I thought were halfway decent until I realized that a lot of people play with mouse and keyboard and I should probably try that too, and I've never gone back and probably never will for building. I wanted to put up some top cabinets, which I do sometimes, not all the time, usually with smaller kitchens. And sometimes you get these pieces. I think it's like a pantry or something, but you have to make the walls really huge and they sit up high, and I'm not really a fan of them. I like these little half cabinets. So I press Alt again, and you can maneuver it to wherever you want. If you want it lower down, higher up, or wherever, I like to put something like that on top of the fridge. The new country kit has one with dishes on it that I used in my Not So Berry house, but I really like these little ice cream cabinets, so I'm trying to stick with that whole thing, but you can always mix and match. I'm sure I've done it a few times, I'm not going to lie. Different cabinets for different things, because some of them have, more details to them instead of just plates and stuff. Sometimes there'll be cute little knickknacks and what have you on there, and I can't remember which one it is, but you could use the shelves and add things to them, and it's fun. It's just a great way to personalize and make it more real. I wish The Sims used the cabinets. That would make it awesome, but instead they just use the countertops, and I mean, that's fine too. Another fun thing without turning cheats on is to make it kind of like a island that connects to your countertop. And I mean, it takes a little bit of patience on my end, but there's different pieces. Like I want to use this curved cabinet really bad. It ends up not turning out the way I wanted it to, but I end up using the island pieces, and there's a curved piece on there, and I mean, it turned out pretty fine. There was a big hangover on one end, but I just put a sink there anyways, and I think it turned out just fine. I lived in an area whenever I was younger where a couple of blocks down was a nicer, richer neighborhood, and I had a couple of friends that lived there, and they kind of had an island that was similar, and it had this weird little overhang, and we used to just lean against that little corner and just talk and hang out and do whatever. So I'll speed it up a little bit and you'll see what I mean. So here's the little lip I was talking about, the little overhang, which is an island piece, but literally I just held down Alt the entire time. Every time I picked up a new piece, I guess I alted it into the right position and place. I guess you could say that, but you just hold on Alt and you are able to move so many things without turning cheats on. Another thing I wanted to add was a little hood vent, which I've seen them add in like mainly restaurants and stuff in this style, but I really like this one. I've used it in a couple of houses that I've built with my daughter. But you hold down Alt, you can move it into place, you can move it up, you can move it down. I wanted to move it down a little bit so I could put another half cabinet on top. Just for this video, I wanted to mess around a little bit with these odd little corner cabinet pieces that are for the wall, because I know that they work sometimes, but on something like this, when they're positioned on a wall and you kind of have an awkward build, they don't exactly move the way you want them to using Alt. They just don't. Even with move objects on, they're a little bit difficult, but I just wanted to show you what they look like here. I wanted to show you that it also works with doors. So I'm going to put a little door to the bathroom. In this little side piece, you can add a door, but it moves so much better holding down Alt. One of the things besides plants I like to put over here is a little trash can, and then I'm going to show you what I usually do with this wall. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take away all these walls, and I'm going to go to Windows, and I'm going to add one of those picturesque windows. And I like to put foliage back there, but also if you have kids in your Sims house or whatever else, you're able to see into the backyard and you can see what they're doing, and it's another way to give it a more real feel. I always like to have my kitchen either on the side of the house or all the way in the back of the house. If it's a 2-story, it doesn't really matter, but I don't like to build a whole lot of homes that are 2-story just because I'm about to start a bunch of challenges and make it less challenging for now because I'm not used to those kind of plays. I'm just going to go through and I'm going to add a couple of bar stools just for some color and so I don't have to do it later. The same Alt trick that you did in the kitchen you can do for bathrooms, but I'm going to save my favorite bathroom tricks for another video. I like to be able to move my house, and I just found out how to do this. You can move a room separately from the house, or you can move the entire house, or you can move the entire lot just by going to the little crisscross arrows on top and choosing it and moving it. I'm going to go through and I'm going to show you how I like to do a living room whenever it's connected to the kitchen. I added just one that I found in the catalog and I really like it, but I'm going to go through and I'm going to show you that there's all kinds of different ones and show you exactly which one I picked. I just resized it, moved the furniture around a little bit, and I think that's all that I did to it, but I took away also the little entranceway. To go with the little open feel that I was talking about, I'm going to go through and I'm going to knock out these walls. Now I've made a lot of mistakes with a sledgehammer, so be careful. And sometimes I like to add a little half wall, which is what I end up doing a little bit later on. So now I want a rug for the kitchen, and I'm going to choose green and gray because those are the main colors right now that I'm going for. And I'm going to search, and I like this rug. Now you can make it smaller, you can move it. This is still without any cheats turned on. This is all the Alt button. I'm going to do the same things with pictures for this wall. I mean, I know they're not the greatest that I choose, but I'm going to resize them. And I'm going to drag them around. This is just to show you that you can do this too, because a lot of times when I have a themed bedroom or a themed any room, I like to choose a picture and I like to blow it up and use multiple of them, kind of like they're the wallpaper, if you will, or a giant mural. I'm also going to go through and I'm going to do the same thing with some lights. And I mean, I'm not going to turn on the cheats just yet, but whenever I do use the move objects, I like to bundle lights together so it makes it look like a chandelier, especially the long hanging jar ones that come with, I think, the Eco Pack. But I have this little festive one, and I like to make it small and make it big to show you that you can put it in different things. I wish you could put it underneath cabinets, but I have not figured out how to do that, if you can even do it. Now I'm going to put some plants on the counters. And these are just regular ones that fit on there, but here's my favorite plant, and notice it cannot go on the counter yet. So now I'm going to turn on testing cheats true, and then I'm going to enter in the cheat bb.moveObjects space on, and that's going to actually turn on the cheat. So now we can use the cheat to resize objects and use either number 9 or number 0 to move objects up and down, and that's how I'm going to get these plants in position on the counter. It's one of my favorite things. I love the plants so much. I'm just showing this in hopes that one day we can add hanging plants underneath counters too. Not just lights, under counters, because that'd be so cute. In my graduate hotel bar build that I did, I used these plants in all the rooms. I used signage and everything else, but I really like these plants. And what I'm going to do is usually I have them by a window or along a wall. They always sit along a wall. Even if you try to move them, they clip onto the wall, and you can make them bigger like that. Or this time I'm going to make them smaller, and I'm going to line the top of the cabinets with them, because I don't really like that little gray piece showing where the tiles end and the paint begins. So I'm going to add them, and I'm going to use the number buttons to move them all the way up and place them in a pattern on top of the cabinets. Now, I know that this cabinet set has a double glass view, but real quick, I'm going to show you with Move Objects On that you can make your own double one. So if there's like the country kitchen kit, they have the plates one. If you want to do like a double plate, Move Objects On, you're able to move the top cabinets. You can also put the bottom cabinets on top. It's very versatile and it's great. But the only problem with the Move Objects is if you combine objects, like when you're trying to get them from the gallery onto your lot, you have to have that cheat on, or else either things go missing or things are in the wrong spot, or objects aren't very clear and they kind of look glitchy. Now say you're playing and you go back into build mode. Before you ever do anything when you're first building, remember to turn Move Objects off. I've had a lot of problems where I forgot to turn it off and I went into build mode and I went to do something much later on and it moved objects and I couldn't get them back how I wanted to, like whenever I have a lot of clutter and everything else. I'm also, just for myself, for future videos and for anybody who wants these, just to have them, I'm going to upload both the house, like the entire lot, into the gallery, and I'm also going to do the one room, which it turns out being a kitchen, but it's the kitchen / living room, just so that if you want to play around with it or want to use or anything else, it's already there for you up in the gallery. I'm gonna put more information on my gamer tag and what these are titled in the description down below of this video for you. I know that there's a lot more hacks and tricks and everything else. These just happen to be my personal favorite to use that are just easy, especially since I am playing on console and I cannot do mods or anything like that. It's just something fun, and I thought I would share it. And thank you so much for watching this video. If you have any other information or things I might like to try out in more tutorial videos or any other builds or anything else, go ahead and let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to. No pressure, but it would be nice because I have a lot of plans for fun videos in the future. And also check out my previous ones. Some of them aren't the greatest quality because I am still learning. I just recently learned how to record and get everything onto my iPad or my phone to edit and everything else, so it's a lot clearer and a lot better. But we're all learning together, and that's the Sims community is just one of the greatest communities I've ever had the pleasure of being part of. And I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you enjoy the others. Bye bye.